This is the South Pacific Adventist News. Hello, I'm David Gibbons. A Seventh-day Adventist church in Papua New Guinea was washed away because of heavy flooding caused by cyclone Guba last weekend. More than 70 people are reported dead in the Oro province north of Port Moresby, and 55 are still missing. Reports claim that the town is like an island with many roads and bridges destroyed. Pastor Saga is the Adventist Church pastor in the region. Hello, Pastor Saga. Can you hear me?
I can, yes, David.
Can you tell me, how has this cyclone affected you?
There was a flash flooding that came down and about 13 or so church members' houses that went that very day.
And what are the needs that you are facing right now?
A lot of our people are, homeless, and they're just struggling for survival. Maybe our members can help pray for us.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you very much.
Bless you. Local authorities and aid agencies, including the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, ADRA, are working together to provide support to all affected communities. Over 1,000 people travelled for up to 3 days over rugged mountain ranges to hear a 10-year-old preacher last month. Jordan Wesley was the guest speaker at the week-long convention at Kokoda, Papua New Guinea. He spoke every morning and every evening. 400 of the audience were other children who also participated in crafts and games during the day about God's love and His plan for their lives. Jordan encouraged the children to go back to their own villages and tell others about what they had learned about Jesus. Children's ministry leaders were thrilled to hear from other children as young as 5 share how God had blessed them. Retired Australian pastor John Carter says his latest evangelistic campaign in Russia is the most significant he has ever run. 200 people were converted during the crusade in the city of Kazan in sight of one of the world's most beautiful mosques. At least half of the converts were Muslims. This was the first major evangelistic campaign to be held in a largely Muslim city. Carter says we now have proved that large-scale evangelism can successfully reach Muslims. A KGB boat patrolled the water during the baptism, and men in black with submachine guns mingled in the crowd at the baptism to prevent a possible riot. But Carter says the Muslims received him in peace, one saying that God had sent him as a prophet. The Adventist school in Kempsey in North New South Wales has had a 1,600% attendance increase. That's the first story in this week's Evangelism news. The issue also reports that Adventist baptisms in Victoria have doubled so far this year, and it tells how a local Adventist church is planning to put its weekly sermons on the television across Australia. Evangelism news is totally free, but only available via email. There's 30 stories in this issue designed to make readers excited about what Seventh-day Adventist churches are doing across Australia. And in brief, retiring Family Ministries Director Dr. Brian Craig reported last week that research has been conducted amongst youth attending Adventist schools on the topics of sexuality, alcohol and drugs. He said that additional resources are urgently needed to deal with false perceptions and risky behaviours amongst the youth. The Australian edition of It Is Written begins on the Australian Christian Channel in February. It will be shown 3 times each week. The show, which is already winning its time slot on Channel 7 in Australia, will be seen on pay TV in Australia, New Zealand, PNG, Indonesia and Great Britain. And in this week's record, there's a report on a 5-year study which reveals the link between cancer and diet, physical activity and weight. That's the news. I'm David Gibbons.